When's the best way to listen to a podcast? Maybe when you're leaving work after a lone Monday morning. Or you're at home and just bored and have nothing to do, so you're able to pull up Spotify. But any other way you do listen, you can only listen as you stare at blankness, at darkness, or at my logo. But what if we change that aspect to this? That's right, guys. Nature of the Game will now have audio and video, which means we will now be posting on Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube for Season 1, Episode 1 of Nature of the Game. March 4th, guys. Make sure to watch it. Make sure to listen to it. Go like it. Go subscribe. Hey guys, it's Ethan here. Before we set stone to get Season 1, Episode 1 of Nature of the Game rolling, I just want to say thank you guys for seriously tuning in. This is going to be an amazing ride, and I can't wait to do more podcasts later down the road and more videos later down the road here on YouTube. So it's definitely going to be something to enjoy and to look out for. And yeah. Without further ado, let's get to Season 1, Episode 1, and the first guest, Brandon Hawkins.
ECHL Hockey, Fort Wayne Comets, Toledo Walleye. Second period, Toledo up 1-0. Brandon Hawkins around the goal for the Michigan move. Toledo, 3-2 winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, thank you so much for tuning in to Season 1, Episode 1, Nature of the Game podcast. I am your host, Ethan Achten. I am so excited to be here today with you guys, and we have a tremendous first guest for the Nature of the Game podcast, and that is Toledo Walleye goal scorer Brandon Hawkins. He's going to come on and talk about his revenge tour from last season, what all built up for him to become the amazing hockey player he is today. But before we get into Brandon, I just want to talk about what this podcast is really going to mean and be worth to you guys. The main purpose of our podcast is to bring on these special guests, right? To talk about their experiences in professional sports and how they achieve success. And I hopefully you guys will be able to take this information, if you guys are in a sport or not, and be able to share this or, learn off all this information and chase your guys' dreams. Make sure that you guys want to chase your dreams, whether it be in sports, whether it be anywhere else in any field. Remember to always chase your dreams. And I think that's what I want to push most importantly for this podcast. And really, the topic of sport really relies on the guests we're going to have for the day. Again, Brandon Hawkins, we're going to be talking about a lot about hockey today. But yeah, depending on the guests is what going to be resulting about what sport we will be talking about. I do want to let you guys know we do have a nice little fun segment that I'm going to introduce later on in the show after our interview, and that's going to be called Nature's Quest. It's going to be a nice little 10 question segment. It's going to be really fun that we're going to throw Brandon through. But besides that, guys, it's really going to be a fun podcast. I hope you guys stick around, listen to more episodes as I get things rolling. If you guys don't know, I did recently, all of you guys probably know that I work with the Mud Hens and Walleye here in Toledo. I do stay busy with them So there will be times where I'll have a couple breaks in between podcasts, and it's nothing that I'm taking a break from the podcast. It's mainly that I'm working a lot. I just need to, slow my roll because, like, again, my ultimate goal here is with my company. So once I get past and do everything that I need to do with my company, I love to share content with you guys, and I really think you guys are going to love this. So I really don't want to keep you any longer. How about this? Without further ado, let's give you Brandon Hawkins. Stay tuned right after the break, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Nature of the Game podcast. And for the season 1, episode 1 guest today is by far one of the best goal scorers I've seen. Is Toledo Walleye player Brandon Hawkins. Played his first season in the Walleye uniform 2021-22 season, led the team with 35 goals, which is 1 goal shy of the Walleye single season record that we may be shooting for this season. 64 points in 52 games, ranked second on the team, and you went on to lead all ECHL players in the playoffs with 33 points, 15 goals, and 18 assists in those 21 games. While setting a team playoff records for the goals, points, and assists, you currently lead the Walleye in points this season with 53, 25 goals, 28 assists. And can I please mention, to start off, a hat trick in the first period in Rapid City the other night. Oh, my God. I don't think I've ever screamed in front of a TV so much in my life. That was amazing. It was just one after the other. I was actually back home in Chicago while you guys were down there. And I'm with my dad, and I'm just like, well, Hawks got one. He was like, all right. And they just kept adding on. I was like, all right, he's got a second one. And then the third one comes out. There's still 5 minutes left in the first period. I was like, this is insane. But anyways, guys, Brandon Hawkins, how you doing today? Thank you again for joining me on the Nature of the Game podcast.
Not a problem, brother. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be number one and in the new chapter for you. I'm excited to see how the podcast goes and hopefully it goes north and in a positive way.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, we're going to jump right into it here. So I'm going to start in your early life. Being a native from Macomb, Michigan, you started your career in roller hockey, ultimately winning a gold medal for Team USA, correct?
Yep, I won a gold medal last year at the World. They call it the World Games, but in reality, it's Olympic Trial Games. It's all the trial sports that are trying to get into the Summer Olympics.
All right. So from what I also was reading is that your dad played a huge role in from your roller hockey experience leading up to switching those wheels to blades. So how was that experience for you growing up, being with your dad, having that rink for you to grow up in, and then to be able to transpire into ice hockey and then ultimately being a professional?
So growing up, my dad actually started working at a place called Joe Dumars Fieldhouse. Joe Dumars Fieldhouse is actually where another couple walleye greats. I mean, Birchback played there, Janksy played there, Henny played there, Spezia played there. So it was like the Midwestern roller hockey mecca, as a lot of people like to refer to it. So, and my dad he started off with my godparents. We call them uncle. So Kenny Houle and Kevin Houle and their father started roller hockey there. And when they moved on, my dad took over as general manager, where I was around maybe 6 or 7. And I can't tell you the countless hours I spent in that rink. I started playing ice hockey probably right around 6 or 7, but I started on roller skates completely.
Yeah, I know. I remember reading an article. You mentioned that you could roller skate before you could walk as a kid.
Yeah, so growing up, my dad, it was their idea to throw him and my mom to throw me on. Do you remember 1-2-3 skates? Fisher Price 1-2-3 skates, where you could put your shoe in the skate.
Yeah.
Yep. So they would put me on those, and I'd wheel around the house and wheel everywhere else, and that was my thing. And even as a baby, they would put me in the little bouncy stroller, and they put me in the rink and shut the doors, and that was my babysitter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Just keep you going in circles right there.
Exactly. So roller hockey played a tremendous role. I wouldn't change my childhood anyway. I spent many days from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. spending it at the roller hockey rink while tournaments were going on and different things like that. I'd be there the second school was done all the way until close, because that was when my dad was working, and I loved every second of it. And it closed down the year that COVID shut our year down. They closed it for good. It's now called, I want to say it's called the Greg Grant Fieldhouse now, where it's all, I think it's indoor volleyball, soccer, basketball, and some baseball. But yeah, since then, I miss it. I miss it dearly. It was really the roller hockey mecca of the Midwest.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, roller hockey, and of course, hockey or just roller skating and ice skating to me has been absolutely a no-go. I tried so many times with both, and I've failed so many times, countless ends. But I want to kick it into last season now.
Mhm.
21-22 season was definitely one that the Walleye won't forget.
Yeah.
It was an amazing season, hell, that led up to Brabham Cup championship, a Western
Yeah.
Conference championship, and then ultimately going to that final appearance and having that heartbreaking defeat against Florida. But I really want to know, after coming off that season where we didn't even get a team on the ice because of COVID, how this team becomes so close and so unique to where, what was that mindset going into that season, having TJ at captain, being able to get with these guys and pursue all the way up to all these championships?
Well, I think we had everybody wanted to be there. That was the whole thing. If you were coming to Toledo, you came there to win, period. And that was the mindset right from the beginning. And to have the leadership group that we did and TJ Hensick and John Albert and Randy Gazzola and Marcus Vela, like guys like that, it's really easy to lead a team when you have such a great leadership group.
Yeah.
And me and Gaz had our fair share of playoff experience too. So it was nice to have a crew that's played in big games, big series like that really knew what they were doing.
Yeah, has the experience. The people who have the experience that could go on with those things. I totally get it. And just to mention, this year you were one of the first players to sign back with the Walleye for your revenge tour that you mentioned in the Flow Sports.
I was the first.
The first. So I knew it was you and Simone were kind of like back to back, and they shared your articles together, so it confused the hell out of me.
I signed. I believe we got done June 11th.
That sounds right around
then. And I signed June 15th.
Okay. All right.
And that was the first day you were able to sign.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that would have had to been because it's only a couple days until they open it up.
Yep.
All right. But yeah, you were the first player to sign. So the question I'm trying to get at here is having all the success from last season. You got a new group of guys in, a new captain, even though he was alternate last year, he's new captain this year. What do you see the same potential in this year's team? And again, I will say I think we can all agree that it was a rough start to start out the season, but things have really picked up here after the All-Star break.
Oh, absolutely. We I think with the addition of with Andrew Sturtz, he's a big guy that turns the wheel for us. He's probably in my top 3-4 teammates all time in terms of the person that he is, the energy that he brings, the positivity. That's a guy you need in your locker room if you want to win. Yeah. Period. He's that great of a human being. And he's a goal scoring machine on top of it, so that helps. But so you get him, you get Riley McCourt, who's a highly skilled defenseman, can run a power play, can do things like that. You get Charlie Curdy, another huge pickup for us, and things really started to turn right around that point, and you could see everybody come together more and more. And I mean, we get some help from Grand Rapids with the young guys with Warad, Bliss, Nardi from Manitoba, Tatayev. Am I missing any forwards?
No, I think you hit about all.
Pat McGrath.
Oh, yeah, bloodbath.
Patty's not a young guy. He's with me. So it's you get guys like that, and they're all in the mindset that they want to be here. They want to win. Because at some point you get the American League guys that come down and they're like, I feel like I shouldn't be here. I'm upset that I got sent down. Blah this.
Where's
blah blah.
Demotion to where is that affecting you mentally on the ice?
Exactly. So these guys want to be here. They want to get better. They want to win, and it created the perfect equation for us to start climbing the ladder. And as you can see, we've been just getting better and better. And I think we still got room to grow, but we got to keep going.
Yes, definitely. You guys have been, like, again, tremendous after the All-Star break. I feel like you guys really hit um, I would say a 360 or a 180, because it was kind of slow to really start off the year after coming off of such a successful last year. And then everything just started picking up and picking up and picking up and picking up. And now looking at this team, will you say that you see the same potential in this team that you saw last year that can bring this team back to the finals?
Yeah, especially with the additions we've had. So like in the end, I think we'll have a great chance down the road. I think we got to keep building as we are now, but things definitely look positive.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so kicking it over, we're going to talk a little bit off the walleye stuff right now. We're going to kick it to the summertime, this off season. We're going to talk about some three ice here for a little bit. So you were able to tag up with TJ at three ice, and you were able to take your competitive hockey game and put fun and a unique twist into it. And I just want to know, how important was three ice for you to just staying active in the off season and being able to still learn from a guy like TJ that's always been with you like that?
It was awesome. I mean, it's a different game completely, so it lets you be a little more creative, and that's my game no matter what. So it was a lot of fun. It was even better that I got to play with TJ, because I mean, the amount of stuff I learned from him on and off the ice last year is stuff that's so invaluable to a player that's still at the beginning of their career. So to learn from him, to get to play with him after him being an idol of mine growing up, playing at the field house and watching him play at Michigan, he's one of the guys I looked up to. So in the end, to get to play with him, and you never know if he'll come back and play again or what happens, but to get to share the ice with him and learn the things that he's done and made him so good for so long, it's so awesome. And it's something that I'll get to be able to tell my kids and then on, because there's not many times you get to play with a guy that's played a couple hundred or very close to a couple hundred NHL games, close to 1,000 pro games, and be the player that he was.
Yeah. That's one thing that at least, of course, I've never been down in the locker rooms, but just even seeing on the ice, you can just tell how much TJ was just a captain. He stood behind every one of his players. If one just showed up the other day from another team, or if one was there for the whole season, he had everyone's back, and he cared about everyone, and he made sure everyone was all chasing the right goal, the dream.
Cup. 100%. And his whole thing is that, and that's the walleye culture for you right there.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. You come in that locker room, your family, period.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think that's so cool that you were able to share that connection with TJ outside of the walleye locker and be able to have that one-on-one connection. Because I feel like a person like TJ, you can always learn and grow from his experience. Yeah, it just keeps going on and on from there. So another side note from walleye hockey into the next question is, you did take a little detour from the revenge tour this year when you got the call up to the Chicago Wolves. I personally am from Chicago, so I know how intense the All-State Arena can get. But you've had plenty of AHL call-ups here. Is there any different, when you go up there, is there any different goals or mindset changes that you go through again with a new team, new city?
You know what? And my whole thing is don't change as a person or a player. In the end, you go up there and you try to play your game. If you're going up in a situation where you never know what's going to happen, like my whole thing was do what I can to help the team win.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do. You never know what position you're going to get thrown into or what opportunities you're going to be given, even though you have to earn them no matter what happens. It was awesome. Wendell Young's a tremendous person. He's the GM there. So it was nice to connect with him and get to know him a bit, and all the guys there. They treated me really well, and I tried to help to the best of my ability, and hopefully I did that.
Yeah, definitely. And like call-ups have been coming like no other this year. We just seen this morning Mitchell Hurd went up to, I forgot the team name already,
Belleville.
But he got a AHL is that what it's, Belleville?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just an exciting moment. And I think, like you said, there's no reason to change, because the only reason that you got that position is because you were the person you were, and you had the skills that you had. You shouldn't change for something. And I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then I actually want to take a little bit deeper dive down into something I saw in the Flow Sports, where you talked about this quote, paradise every day. How important is it to you to not only stay competitive, but also to have fun on the ice? And what's your purpose behind the Paradise Everyday meaning? And how does that translate to your game and what you love most?
Okay, so Paradise Every Day, I got to pay homage to the guy that created it. He's his name's Josh Vermeesh. He is Tattoos by Loaf. He
Okay.
is the guy I get all my stuff done by. He's a tremendous human being and lives off of a wonderful mindset called Paradise Every Day. Paradise Every Day is no matter what happens in the world, no matter what type of shit sandwich you're given, you find a way to make that day better than what it was. And in my eyes, the way I look at it is, do you remember the old Corona commercial, Find Your Beach?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so the rink is my beach. Going to the rink every day, putting my skates on, getting paid to play a game that I love. That's Paradise Every Day. No matter if it's a good day or a bad day, guess what? I get to put my skates on. And when that happens, it's sunshine and rainbows. No matter what or how hard that day is going to be on the ice or what's going on with who we're playing against and how hard that game is going to be. It's just the mindset that I get to put my skates on that day. I get to be myself. I get to play a game that I love, and it's a privilege and an honor that I get to do so. So to have that type of mindset has really been powerful to me, because my first year it was tough. I think I went up and down between Wilkes-Barre and Wheeling 6 times and played 6 games total.
Wow.
I tore my groin at the end of the year, had a grade 2 groin tear, and then after that, COVID ended the season. So it was like, in the end, there were a lot of ups and downs. So when Josh, when he started to create this type of mindset, this type of idea behind Paradise Every Day, I really took it to heart and tried to use it to the best of my abilities in everything I do. And I try to spread it that way too, because in the end, we're all going to be given shit sandwiches. It's how you deal with them. And if you can deal with them with a smile on your face, then life's pretty good.
All right. So I got a fun little segment for us. It's called The Nature's Quest. It's a fun little 10-question segment that we're going to do to close off the show today.
Okay.
It's a mixture of a bunch of different questions. So it could be would you rathers or all bunch of stuff. So are you ready to take this on?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Number 1. If you weren't a hockey player, you would be what?
If I was a professional athlete, I'd be a golfer. If I was working in a normal working job, I'd work within special needs, whether it be working with individuals with autism or Down syndrome, anything in that realm. I've always enjoyed it. My parents have both done it. My dad did it before the hockey rink. My mom's a teacher currently. So I've always enjoyed it a lot, and I connect with them. So it's been great to take that and work with people that are less privileged than I am.
I love that. Giving back to the community is one of the biggest things I see on this team. You know, a lot of people on this team love to give back to our communities or communities all over the country just to spread the awareness. And I love that factor that not only are we just a game, but we can spread that awareness too outside.
Yep. And even Sunday, the DSAGT Down syndrome awareness of Greater Toledo, they are coming to the bobblehead game Sunday.
Perfect. Have you seen your bobblehead yet?
Yeah, I saw it.
I need one. I need to get my hands on one. I'll figure out a way to. All right. I'm going to kick it to number 2. I know you're covered in them, and you just talked a little about the guy who does them. Do you have a favorite tattoo on you?
I have a autism awareness puzzle piece on the top of my hand. So it's
perfect.
It's
all right.
My best friend growing up, Andrew Catula. His brother is Thomas Joseph Catula, which is the initials at the top of the tattoo, TJK. I don't know if you can see it there. Here, let me pull my sleeve up so you can get a little bit better. But like TJK at the top.
There we go. Yep.
So that was for him. He's low communicating and low functioning, but it's been pretty cool to see Tommy and basically I lived a lot with Andy growing up, so was to see Tommy every day. That's another reason why I love working with individuals like that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, number 3. You have a favorite hockey player growing up?
Brett Hull.
Okay.
Yeah,
Favorite?
I don't know if you could figure that out. I wear number 16. I have the same initials. I love taking one knee one timers.
Yep.
He was 17 on Detroit, but when I was on Little Caesars when I was very, very young, I always used Brett Hull sticks because that was the
my
era
God.
when he'd get a whole pile of sticks, he'd flex it, put it in the good pile, flex one, put it in the bad pile. And for a little bit, I was able to choose from the bad pile and get to use them for my own liking. So it was it's very cool. I kept one of his blades, and I got a signed picture of Brett Hull too. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, number 4. I gotta know. It's been bugging me all year. I got the mullet in the beginning of the year. Are we getting the mullet back? Is it gonna be a playoff thing, maybe?
I don't know. The hairs on the front of my head erase each other to the back. My hairline isn't what it used to be.
I love that, Fluffy. You were mic'd up, I think, it was like a preseason practice or something.
When I was making fun of Jordan Strack.
Yeah.
Hamburger boy. Guy eats well done steak with ketchup.
All right. Number 5. I know you have your favorite player, but do you think who is the GOAT of hockey, the greatest of all time to ever touch the ice?
Well, I mean, it's dumb if you don't say Gretzky, but you have to put Lemieux in that conversation as well, because if he stayed healthy his entire career, I put him in the exact same category. He was just as dominant, and they're both unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you're going today's world, if you're going today's game, the generation I grew up with, it would be Crosby and Ovechkin.
Crosby, yep.
If you're going defenseman, you have to go Lidstrom. You
That's
also
what
have
I
to
like.
throw Yzerman in too. So
That, especially in hockey, you see that each position is so valuable to the game that you can't really name an overall greatest of all time of that sport.
no,
Because it's so hard to pinpoint one person in the team of hockey, because without a team in that sport, you don't do anything. This is one of the,
if you're going to the tremendous leader wise, you're going with Yzerman, because look at the Detroit teams he led, and the stories that people tell that he led he didn't have to say a word. He just led by example. That's a tremendous leader in my mind. And like, if you're going to ask me basketball, I'm going to say Jordan over LeBron, just because, well, first I like to stir the pot. Second, because Jordan's
I love when people ask the GOAT questions, because it gets that pot stirring usually. All right, number 6. I kind of know where this is going to go based off of number 1. Would you rather go golfing or go bowling?
Oh, golfing.
Exactly. Got to figure that out. We got to hit the course sometime, man. I got my clubs. I suck, though. I do. My dad's great. He never taught me well, though. I'm bad.
I play a lot in the summertime, so you let me know. I'm in.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so this one's really funny because this is another would you rather question. But what I do is I have this outline for the whole podcast that I go off of. So I completed this outline, say a couple weeks ago. Been working on it, and I have this question in here. This would you rather question, which you have done both very recently, which is would you rather win a fight at home or get a hat trick on the road?
Say win a fight at home?
Win a fight at home or get a hat trick on the road?
Well, like in the end, the other day when I fought for who did we play? Iowa? When I fought against Iowa, it was because I took exception to the way they hit Gordy Green.
Yeah.
And that's who I am. I did the same thing when Frazier got hit in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
And
you got to stand up for your guys. I get that.
Have to. And you know what? I'm a goal scorer. I'm not a fighter.
And that's why I like the idea that you can't name one person in the sport of hockey, because everyone has their designated roles that helps this team become an actual hockey team. And 100%. Each role is just so important. And that's why like people like Cole Frazier and Mitchell Hurd, even Brutus Gaffari last year, those big pounders, they were the guys that stood up for the team whenever anyone was getting, pelted in, elbowed, whatever it may be. You have that stand-up guy, and I think that's perfect. I really do, because I mean, also when you do look at it, you are a top goal scorer. In my mind, top goal scorers probably shouldn't be Duke in every every game anyway.
Well, the way I've always looked at it is you have to know how, right? There's going to be a time and a place,
yeah,
and my dad always preached that. And in the end, I know how to do it. Do I want to do it every single game? Absolutely not. But is there going to be a time when your teammates gets taken advantage of and you're the first guy there? Absolutely. So it's an invaluable skill to have. By no means am I a fighter. By no means am I good at it. But am I willing to do it? Absolutely. If that's the case of protecting one of my own guys, I'll do it every day of the year.
yes. And ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Hawkins, what he is good at is scoring goals. That is the best thing that he could do. And I just want to go down to number 8 now. Favorite walleye jersey worn this year so far.
Bonefish.
If you don't have, okay, I was gonna say, if you don't like
Yeah.
any of the specialty ones, you can go with one of the regulars.
Yeah, bonefish.
That
I feel like
one-
the bonefish should be we have, what do we got? We got white, yellow, blue, and black. I feel
Yes.
like you could trade out the blue with the bonefish and just leave the
Oh, that
bonefish
was-
year round.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they were talking about, because I swear they use that logo so much throughout a season that
Yep.
they probably will create more merchandise with that fish on. It was really cool. And then let's see here, number 9, getting down to nitty gritty here. Most memorable moment that you've had so far
As a walleye?
as a hockey player.
Well, that's as a hockey player, getting to sign my first professional contract was cool. Winning a championship in Fort Wayne, although everyone's going to say there's an asterisk because it was a COVID year.
Yeah.
I'll roll my eyes at that comment. You guys ride on a 20-hour bus ride to Allen or to South Carolina or something like that, and you guys let me know. It happens. But if I'm going to say favorite moment, there's a lot. We won the Bean Pod after 30 years playing in Northeastern.
Okay.
There's a pretty cool picture. I believe it was the Cincinnati series, and it might have been the hat trick goal I got from TJ in Game 7. And then there's a picture of TJ with his arm around me going towards the bench.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a cool moment. Like having your idol do something, like one of your idols do something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. Like,
That's what I know. It's hard to choose. It's hard to choose one.
It's
But
you know what will be my favorite moment is when I have kids, when my kids can see me play, and I hope that's something I get to do. That'll by far trump everything.
Yeah, I know how amazing that experience can be. I see Simone and Griffin out there all the time. He's always waving at it. It's amazing experience to be able to bring them in that atmosphere and to start at such a young age and be able to see everything that you're able to achieve. It's great.
100%.
All
I got
right.
to see it with Henny and William coming all the time. Wee coming all the time last year. So like that's something I want to experience and get to do. But my favorite moments is probably the locker room.
Okay.
Because in the end, like you hear everybody talk about the things they miss isn't the playing and everything like that. It's the locker room moments with your teammates. And when you grow together and you put a family together as a team, it's like those are the things you'll remember.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
Andy Sturts, like some of the stuff he says off the wall, it's like you'll never forget it. And he sits next to me in the locker room.
Imagine.
He sits next to me in the locker room, so I get to live it every day, and it's the best.
I seen him the couple of times he auctioned off his own jersey, and I can only imagine what he is behind closed doors.
Oh, he would have. He lives by John Party, the song "Night Shift." That should be that's his song forever.
We'll have to get that thrown into the warm-ups, get him going. All right, number 10, last question here on the Nature Quest. Do you have a hero?
Do I have a hero?
It could be broad-wise as someone you fight for every day is. Yeah.
It's gonna be my parents, because when I was little, my roller hockey days. My dad broke his back and then got let go from the roller hockey facility, and we were a one income family for a good amount of time. And my mom battled with one job as a teacher, which you probably know it's not great. And we had help from grandma and grandpa and or my Oma and Opa, and then grandma Dawn on my other side. But for them to pay for gear and things with money we didn't have to let me play the game that I love and ultimately be where I am today, it wouldn't be without them. And I'm a play it again kid. If we needed something we could find at a Play It Again Sports, I was happy to have it. So growing up and having those two as my parents, I had the best example of what an adult and a good, kind-hearted human being should be, as well as their relationship, but also because they did everything in their power to make sure that all three kids, me and my sisters, could have the opportunity to play or do what we wanted, and even if we didn't have the money that we needed.
Exactly. And the last thing before I let you go today, just maybe one piece of advice you can throw out there for other people maybe looking to chase their dreams and get into sports, whether it be hockey or maybe a different sport. What's that one thing that you've learned throughout your time that you can share to the young ones looking to get in?
It's about the journey, not the destination.
There we go.
You'll hear throughout in playing from 8 years old through where I am today, you have to enjoy what you're doing at the moment you're doing it, because if you don't, you're going to get burned out and you're not going to want to do it anymore. Have fun going to practice. Have fun playing in games. If you're not having fun, maybe you're in the wrong spot. Maybe something's going on, but find a way to make sure you're having fun in everything that you do, because if you're doing that, you'll do it forever.
Definitely. Wise words from Brandon Hawkins today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring us to the end of the very first Nature of the Game podcast. Make sure you can find all of the podcasts once we start releasing more, of course, on Spotify and Anchor. Once we do get more viewers and followers and stuff, I can start reaching out to more of these streaming platforms. And then, if you guys want to follow me on social media, I haven't created any separate pages for Nature of the Game, but just follow me at Ethan Achten, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, all at the same. And that'll have all the latest information, updates about the podcast, future guests, all that good stuff. Make sure to follow this guy too, Brandon Hawkins. He's on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. I'm pretty sure, so that's why I wanted to ask you again too. So you live by the number 16, but I'm pretty sure on Twitter you got 17 in there thrown in that hashtag.
I created it when I played junior hockey. That was like 12 years ago.
You didn't update it?
I won't. I'm not changing it.
All right. Well, B Hawkins 17 for you Twitter freaks out there, where you can find him, and then I think it's just Brandon_Hawkins for Instagram. Pretty simple there.
I think it's B_Hawkins 10 maybe, because I was 10 in college.
There we go. And you can find all the coolest golf equipment on there too. I will say I've done some shopping myself. He's got some great deals going on there with his partners with golf that he's got going. Drive Force. I couldn't think of the name there for a second.
And let me know if you need stuff printed wise for the show. We could talk to Paradise Printing.
Yeah,
Paradise
all right.
every day. Wouldn't be a bad way to get it set up.
Let me know, guys, if you guys want to see some Paradise Every Day merch or anything. Let us know. We can maybe set something up. That'd be cool if you guys are interested into that. But for season 1, episode 1, Hawk, thank you so much, man. I couldn't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on here today.
Not a problem, brother.
All right, guys, until next time, safe travels, safe adventures, and I will see you on episode 2 of Nature of the Game.